Hi everybody, I made this video for us so that we could get some clarification on our reacting to current event reflection assignment that we'll be doing in class this semester. I have the New York Times pulled up on my screen right here. You can see it. There's the link right up there in the corner. It will also be linked to Google Classroom, so for some reason if you can't find it, you can go to assignments and find it under there. If you happen to Google it and it asks you about pricing, all you have to do is click the logo and it should take you to this homepage right here. Now, the reason that I picked the New York Times for this assignment is the idea that there's this lovely little section drop-down menu that if you click it, it will take you to all of these categories to find articles that pique your interest. And trust me, it'll be a lot easier to do this assignment if you find an article that you're interested in and that can really engage you as a reader. I'm not going to be too picky about content because I really would rather see you engaging critically with the article rather than restrict you in a certain way. My only request is that you try to use something that's been published in the last year or so and that you try to maybe mix it up a little bit. If you like books, I don't want all of your assignments to be from the book section. Same with sports or health or science. I want to see you try to get out of your comfort zone if you can, because that's the whole point of this assignment, to engage critically and try to push ourselves to see things in a new way. Now, for this example, because education is so important to me, I went to the education section and found this wonderful article covering the walkout that happened last April. Here you see the title, and you can scroll down and you can see, I went too far. You can see the author, date of publication. Now, since I can see that it was published April 26, 2018, that means it's less than a year old and I can use it, so that's definitely a good sign. Now, we talked a little bit in class about me really wanting you to dedicate this first section of your reflection on the title and the author. And while that might seem a little redundant to you, the reason why I want you to do that is I really want you to take the extra step to try to learn about who it is that you're reading and who it is that's doing this writing for you. Now, in this example, we have 3 authors. If that ever happens to be the case for an article that you really like, you really only have to pick the first one. I don't want you to write a whole novel about these different people, just to cover the basics. The cool thing about the New York Times is if I click Simon Romero's name, it will take me to Simon Romero's biography page for the New York Times. And once it loads, it will show me a list of all of the publications that he's done for the New York Times and also give me a little insight into his biography. If I click more right here, it will give me a whole rundown of his background story, and I think that's really important to try to understand where this person's coming from in writing this article that I am consuming as a member of the public. I really want to see in that first paragraph of your reflection that you took the time to critically engage and get to know your author a little bit, and I think that that whole live link to the author's bio is a really good feature of the New York Times website. Now, the next section of your assignment is going to involve a brief 4 to 6 sentence summary of the article itself. I don't want to have to go through every single article that you submit. It would take me forever, but I do want to understand and to know that you're going to be able to explain this article to someone else if I asked you to. If you're struggling with this part of the assignment, maybe you should pick a different article that you can engage with a little bit easier, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this middle section is definitely just to check that you understand what you're reading and that you could explain it to a classmate if at all possible. Now, the interesting thing about articles like this is the last section of your assignment, which is going to involve your personal reaction to this article. For example, I don't necessarily agree with all of the metaphors made in this particular article, and I can talk about that in my last section. If you run into an article that is on a subject that you're passionate about, but you don't necessarily agree with what the author is saying, please address that in the 3rd section of your response. Again, I'm not going to harp so much on the topic that you choose. I'm more focused on your opinion and you're able to engage in critical discourse about current events. I'm not asking that you agree with the author. I'm not asking that you share my opinion on things. I'm just asking that if you have an opinion, you tell me what that opinion is and why. Again, this is going to be a 3-section response, 4 to 6 well-developed sentences for each section. I'm going to want you to submit it bi-weekly every other Sunday night on Google Classroom under the assignments page. You're going to copy the link from your article and you're going to submit the Word document of your response. I'm going to need both to give you full credit because I want to make sure that you're picking a legitimate article from this website. Just to reiterate, I would like an article from the last year. I would like a topic that you're passionate about, if you can find one. And I would like you to mix it up a little bit. Play around a little bit. There's so many articles on this website that you can have access to. I want to make sure that you're really pushing yourself to try to learn a little bit more about this world that we live in. I want to see you really push to try to have that critical discourse that we talked about the first day of class. I also want to make sure 1 paragraph for the author, 1 paragraph to summarize on the article, and 1 paragraph about your reaction. You need all 3 of those components to get full credit, and I need you to submit the link in Google Classroom. If you do all 4 of those things, chances are you'll be golden and you'll get full credit. If you have any questions, please let me know.